We've got some exciting news for Z9 owners. Firmware 3.0 just dropped today, and it's a big one. With over 20 new features and improvements, the camera of the year just got better again. Less than a year ago, Nikon announced the highly anticipated Z9. Finally, a camera for the mirrorless age worthy of carrying the label flagship. This release wasn't just a massive leap in technology, but it came with radical new advancements that broke a lot of barriers, such as the first purely full-frame electronic shutter, 8K video with over 2 hours of recording, the world's largest subject detection autofocusing system, and a full-body design that inherits the confident, ergonomic stance of the D6. And throughout this past year, we've come out with several firmware updates for the Z9, including the massive 2.0 update that saw us unlock 8K 60p NRAW internal video. Couple that with innovative features such as pre-release capture, a higher refresh rate on the EVF, and a flurry of other video and stills aids, and it was like a brand new camera. And today, we announce Firmware 3.0, and it brings some great advancements to the powerhouse Z9, so let's start with video. Powered by the Z9's native 8K resolution and the powerful X-Speed 7 processor is a new feature called high-res zoom. Catered to editors shooting for a 4K or HD timeline, this feature allows the videographer to execute an in-camera zoom up to 2 times in the middle of the recording. By programming one of 4 different button or dial combinations, users can now emulate an optical zoom even without a zoom lens. In fact, users can use any Nikkor lens with the Z9 and record a zoom movement even with exotic wide aperture primes. Imagine zooming with a 0.95 Noct. This function also emulates a parfocal lens, as the lack of moving optical elements means that your plane of focus doesn't change. You can now program the camera to zoom at 3 different speeds, which gives you an added advantage of repeating your zoom movement with accuracy of acceleration. And if you want the look of your zoom to be a bit more organic, just as if you were mechanically rotating the lens gears, simply assign high-res zoom to the control ring and emulate an optical lens movement. With Firmware 3.0, a new option for C60 is now unlocked, and it allows you to capture 19.4 megapixel JPEG images taken in the DX crop format at 60 frames per second. For still photographers, it's never been easier to get the decisive moment in high resolution when using the Z9's high-speed capture plus options. A perfect happy medium between the existing C30 and C120 modes. Autofocus and tracking get a huge boost in Firmware 3.0 thanks to several improved algorithms targeting improved low-light detection limits, improved accuracy in low-light and low-contrast scenes, improved accuracy in stills and video when detecting various patterns and micro-patterns, reduced tendency to stick to the background, improved 3D tracking, as well as improved compatibility for erratically moving animals. Videographers and creators shooting multi-Z9 setups and need to synchronize their cameras to the precise split second will be pleased to learn of 2 new important ways to synchronize their camera's timecodes with one another. First, Firmware 3.0 will allow users to reset their timecodes using a remote trigger such as the WRR10. This feature provides the accuracy needed when switching between multiple angles of the same scene. Even more exciting, the Z9 will now be fully compatible with the Atomos UltraSync Blue. This device can wirelessly sync Bluetooth timecode into your Z9, but as well as other cameras and sound systems, allowing the Z9 to be part of a larger production. Other good news for creators of video content is a new feature to combat the effects of high-frequency flicker found in some LED panels. These can show up as banding in your photos as well as video. Taking advantage of the Z9's electronic shutter, Firmware 3.0 now gives you the option of dialing in a super specific shutter speed as accurate as 1/96th of a stop to eliminate this phenomenon. And finally, several operability updates have been added to the Z9, including full vertical interface in stills mode for both shooting and now in playback. And for photographers who love shooting with flash, you can now force your camera to show your ambient light settings even while using your flash. And there's many more adjustments made to the Z9 with Firmware 3.0, which you can read about on our website. This free upgrade is available starting today, both through our Nikon support site or through the SnapBridge app. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed these updates, and we can't wait to see what you do with your Z9.